Welcome to Marketplace Finds, where we show off some crazy and interesting cars for sale, judge what we think of the price, then order it in our tier list. We've officially found the only vehicle owned by a contractor that lectures you about your carbon footprint. Here we have a 2005 Toyota Truck. That's a Prius Truck Fusion brought to life with all the precision of a failed taxidermy project done with a butter knife. I'd call it a mullet, but even those have more structure. The seller proudly calls it a head turner, claiming people stop his wife just to take pictures. I believe him, but it's less car enthusiast admiration and more people uploading it online to make fun of it. The bed is a masterpiece of contradiction, massive sidewalls, zero hauling utility. It's like they wanted to make a truck but forgot trucks need usable space. There's no hatch or tailgate either, just some bargain bin cargo net loosely threatening to hold things in place. Built for the man who drinks almond milk but also owns a chainsaw. Inside is nothing crazy and just a normal Prius. With 220,000 miles and a bed only fit for carrying groceries or shame, the $8,000 asking price is doing some real heavy lifting, just like this truck won't. This next vehicle has been modified in such poor taste, I genuinely hope whoever did it catches a jail sentence for vehicle abuse. This was an iconic 1994 Dodge Viper RT representing raw American dreams with its 8-litre V10 with no traction control and no ABS, just pure unfiltered testosterone on 4 wheels. But somehow, this one ended up looking like it crashed through the clearance rack at a pimp-themed costume store. The custom paint is a matte red finish, so flat it looks like it was applied with a roller during a home renovation show called Pimp My Mistake, and looks like a Valentine's Day balloon that's been left in the sun too long. The massive chrome dinner plate rims reflect everything except good taste, and if you stare at them long enough, you'll see your dignity leaving your body. Onto the engine bay, we see yet another red flag, where the legendary engine's valve covers and intake have been painted in leopard print, and unfortunately for our eyes, this becomes a common theme in the interior. It's painful to even look at those leopard print seats, dash and door cards. The only word that comes to mind is foul. The only excuse for this nightmare is if the owner's wife has been telling him to sell it for years, and they did these modifications knowing no one would buy it just to hold on to it a little bit longer. This Viper deserves better, and you can make it happen and bring it back to glory if you pay the $35,000 asking price. Otherwise, I'm going to have to set up a GoFundMe so we can save it. Even though the price is reasonably fair, I'm going to have to give it a clown sticker purely from the gross mods done to it. We've seen a few Japanese K cars on this channel, but this one has a few interesting features I don't think I've ever seen on one before. It's a 1990 Honda Acti, rocking a custom teal paint job with an upgraded bumper and some nice rims to match. But those aren't the interesting mods we're here for. Under the hood, or technically under the bed, as you can see here, you'll find a 660cc 3-cylinder engine, as this is a mid-engine car just like a McLaren, if McLaren made lawn service vehicles. That's about the size of a bottle of soda, but thanks to that rear-wheel drive and 4-speed manual, it'll scoot around town like a caffeinated shopping cart. Even cooler than that is on the interior. The engine is hooked up to a literal Game Boy Color speedometer. That's right, your speed is now measured in pixels and childhood memories, and is easily one of the coolest mods I've ever seen. The rest of the interior looks clean, just try not to imagine how it will look in a head-on crash at any speed above 10 miles per hour. Moving on to the price the seller is asking for $17,000, and as much as I love these types of vehicles, I feel like this one is just a little bit overpriced, even with the interesting modifications. This right here isn't just a motorcycle, it's a rolling tribute to American excess, bald eagle testosterone and sheer mechanical insanity, introducing the 19-foot-long behemoth known simply as the monster bike. This thing is so badass, it instantly raises the testosterone level of any man within a 10-mile radius of this beast. It doesn't have speakers, but I think the American national anthem can be heard when this drives nearby, powered by sheer aura alone. Even the creator, or maybe I should call them a god, features in the pictures, just to show the scale of this demon on wheels. It's got air ride suspension front and rear, just in case you want to gently bounce over the corpses of smaller motorcycles, handlebars the size of telephone poles, and huge truck tires to match. This thing has no turn signals, no mirrors, and absolutely no apologies. Weighs as much as your ex's emotional baggage, and if you can't grow a beard just by sitting on it, you're not worthy. With a name like Monster Bike, you already know the engine has to match, as it's got a 400 Big Cam Cummins in it. Yup, the 14-litre or 850 cubic inch inline 6 turbo diesel mammoth. This thing makes Priuses cry coolant just by driving by, and making 400 horsepower is more than enough to have a bit of fun with. Even just looking in the background, you can see the owner's got some other insane projects in the works, and definitely gives off the vibe of the saying, if I ever win the lottery, I won't tell anyone, but there will be signs. If you think you're legendary enough to tame this beast, then you're looking at $100,000, which is steep, but I can only assume that price is there to keep the peasants away. Despite the price, it still goes top spot. If I didn't know any better, I'd have thought this cartoon looking car was fake or made by AI. Just the fact that it somehow fits on a wooden pallet is hilarious. It's a scooter pack cabin car, the vehicular equivalent of a single AirPod, or a toddler's drawing of a car that somehow achieved sentience. These are battery powered beasts, having anywhere from 22 miles of range up to 30 with a battery upgrade, but at least it's small enough to pick up and carry if you ever run out of charge. Don't get me started on the crash rating either, because I imagine the moment you hit anything bigger than a curb, this thing folds like a lawn chair in a tornado, and if a car hits you, at least the cab probably doubles as a coffin. It was listed up for only $1,000 before someone snapped it up, and I'm sure we'll see it parked outside Bingo in no time. This is what happens when you let a club promoter design military equipment. The 2003 Hummer H2 party bus is 35 feet of raw, unfiltered bad decisions, a 6-wheeled war crime against subtlety. This thing is longer than a CVS receipt and wider than the crowd at a Dave Matthews concert. It's got the stance of a swap vehicle, but somehow screams bachelorette trip to Atlantic City. The stretch job looks decently done, and the back it has its own smoker's lounge that looks stapled on. However, it's a great addition to a limousine. Enough windows to qualify as an aquarium, but luckily they're blacked out so the public can't see the crimes happening within. Inside, it's all black leather, diamond stitching, and design choices clearly inspired by a Xbox 360 menu screen. The Transformers logo threw me off with the target crowd, but fits the theme as this Hummer has definitely transformed. It seats 29, but emotionally supports none, and comes with PTSD from being rented for Sweet 16s. The raised roof is great. It's surprising there isn't stripper poles in the middle. This vehicle is how I imagined Barron Trump rolling up to his high school prom. Listed for $20,000, which actually seems like a solid price, however, it would have a very niche market. This isn't a limo, it's a 27-foot rolling slab, just missing a candy paint sponsorship and a mixtape drop in the glove box. This 1997 Lincoln Town car is long enough you probably need a truck license, and tall enough to qualify as a public lookout tower. From afar, the exterior looks clean, with full blue paint from top to bottom, and a lightning bolt graphic slicing across the body like Zeus had a sense of style. It's got the usual chrome trim, glinting like a rapper's dental plan, and it's the kind of car you park diagonally across 3 spaces to prevent anyone scratching it. However, on closer inspection, it's already been scratched up in multiple places, and with 190k miles on it, that makes sense. When you open the door, the vibe changes real fast with mold and damp stains everywhere. The seats look like they tried to grow their own upholstery. Judging by the minimal interior photo, it either went through a flood or someone hotboxed it with a fog machine full of mildew. With moldy seats, 190k on the dash, and interior photos that look like a still from Chernobyl, we can't justify the $6,500 price tag, so it gets put at the top of the red. Next up we have the legendary 1996 Pontiac Sunfire GT, and by legendary, I mean in the sense of having the highest amount of chain smoker owners than probably any other model of car ever made. This Hot Wheels ripoff has such a bulky and bubbly looking body kit, the equivalent to a botched BBL, but has held up better than anyone could have expected over what is probably the last 20 years. It's got the orange flames all down the side, and having that bulging intake hood is good enough to fool any non-car person into thinking it's actually fast, as it's got the mighty 2.4 litre twin cam that produces almost enough power to beat a rental scooter in a drag race. Inside, you're greeted by more orange than a hunting vest warehouse throughout, and even a Colorado custom steering wheel if you enjoy gripping a polished pie plate while aiming 120 horsepower of raw indecision. For just $4,000, the seller will even trade this rolling youth centre for a dirt bike, as long as it's a 4-stroke and not a piece of junk. Because clearly, this masterpiece demands only the finest trade. This van looks like the inside of Rick Rubin's brain. This 1990 Volkswagen LT35 has spent 2 decades being loved, lived in, and graffitied like Banksy blacked out and woke up in Camden. You've got every crayon colour from the 64 pack melted into one rolling acid trip. It's less flower power and more of a chemical spill. According to the listing, the bodywork is fair, which is code for the rust is holding hands. There's a bullet hole in the windshield, which has been there for 10 years and allegedly causes no problems. Just adds character. It's the only camper that looks like it survived a drive-by at Woodstock. The owner even took an aerial shot to show off the graffiti on the roof. It looks like it needs an exorcism instead of a detail. The interior has been gutted and looks completely different than I expected. I at least expected a mattress on the floor or mountains of rust. Only God knows what is under the carpet though. The engine bay is shockingly tidy and is accessed next to the driver's seat. They want $3,300, which is good if they're offering a fresh coat of paint as well. If you're a Honda boy, you might want to skip this next car as we have a 1992 Honda Prelude, one of the few that were originally sent to the US, and as you can see, it's unfortunately cosplaying as what can only be described as Crest toothpaste. The front is electric blue, the back is appliance white, and the middle is a confused transition zone with stripes that don't even bother trying to match the body lines. At least they've got the matching rim colours to boot, and you know what really fits on a front wheel drive Honda? Lambo doors of course. Into the interior, the colour scheme continues with this Fast and the Furious meets Home Goods, except the dash and trims all seem to have the rattle can special we all know and love. The steering wheel looks faker than a Rolex from Wish, and goes great alongside the most budget gaming chair looking bucket seats I've ever seen. Unfortunately, we don't know what engine it's got under the hood, so it could potentially be hiding something great, but having only 25,000 miles, the engine's still not even broken in. The seller is looking for $5,500, which is a fair price, especially considering the low mileage. So even in its current sonic state, someone will probably snap it up. I will never get sick of the redneck engineering we come across on Facebook Marketplace, as next up we have the small block Chevy V8 swapped quad for sale, because nothing says I make questionable decisions at 2 AM, like strapping a over 200 horsepower engine to what used to be a child's recreational vehicle. This thing requires the arms the size of telephone poles just to hang on from the power increase, and I'm afraid the Walmart mountain bike handlebars might not be up to the task. The blue and purple sun faded. Plastics don't matter, as you'll be going so fast past people they won't have time to roast the colour scheme. Even the chrome wheels look like they were stolen off a 96 Impala SS parked behind a strip club, so they're due for some fresh muddies instead. If you believe Jesus is actively protecting your life, then this beast can be yours for $2,500, which for something that will either turn you into a local legend or funeral main guest doesn't sound half bad. Up for sale today is a real slice of British history, or what's left of it, after being slow roasted in Pacific Northwest humidity for 40 years. This is a 1951 AEC Regent 3 double-decker bus, a majestic post-war behemoth now chilling in the woods like it's waiting for the Blair Witch to renew its registration. Once a proud symbol of public transportation, now it's just a moss-covered panic room for raccoons. The exterior looks like it respawned in a Skyrim dungeon. Every panel is a different texture of rust, mould, or formerly green. It has more oxidation than a Civil War cannon, and enough tetanus risk to qualify as a medieval weapon. The seller states it runs with a lot of effort, but the engine doesn't look like it's moved in decades. Inside you've got warped plywood, mystery fluids, and what appears to be the remnants of a garage sale no one showed up to. The upstairs deck is empty, which is honestly an upgrade because downstairs looks like a raccoon-led scavenger hunt. It would be awesome to have a vintage British double-decker bus running in America, but that's a lot of man hours to get this thing in good shape. The seller wanted to turn this into a tea shop, but it looks like he spent too much time having tea breaks than actually working on the bus. He wants $7,500, which seems like far too much for the condition it's in. He also added that price is discounted heavily, so I'd hate to see the original pricing. Here we have another redneck engineering masterpiece, being the Suzuki Hayabusa reverse trike, because someone looked at a 1300cc superbike and said, "This needs cup holders and a chance at vehicular manslaughter." If you don't know, these engines are legendary for coming out of the fastest production motorcycles for many years and being able to hit around 190 miles per hour. As much as I don't trust this guy's welds, I still know it would be insanely fun to ride around on, even if it's short-lived. You get two pleather torture seats, likely harvested from a discount racing sim setup, and mounted on what appears to be a lightweight, might fold under braking frame. You and your passenger will enjoy the subtle ambience of exposed aluminum floors, hardware store zip ties, and the most amount of fear they'll ever feel in their life. The seller is looking for $4,000 or best offer, so it's either a horrible idea or the most entertaining way to test the limits of your local traffic court, and priced a little higher than what it's worth. Here's how the final tier list ended up. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong, and if there's anything you'll change around. If you find your own interesting car, you can send it to us on Instagram. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.